What's up, Illumineers? Welcome back to another Lorcana video here on Inkspot Games. I'm Matt, and as of today, all of the legendary cards from into the Inklands have been revealed, have been spoiled, and we know what they are for each color. So we're going to kind of make a tier list here and talk about which ones are good, maybe not so good, what's going to see competitive play or be more techie cards or whatever. We're going to kind of rank these legendary cards from into the Inklands and see what we have going for us. But before we get to that, please be sure to subscribe to the channel for more Lorcana content. Like the video, share with your fellow Illumineers, and yeah, so let's just go ahead and get right on into it. Alright, to start things off here, we're going to start with Emerald, and the first card we're going to look at is Milo Thatch. Now, I'm a pretty big fan of this card because I think it has a lot of really good use, and he's a 7-cost non-inkable, but a shift 4, which is huge, can quest for 3 lore, and when this character is banished, return all opposing characters to their player's hand. Now, I have had some chances to kind of test this card out. I've been using it in the Emerald Steel, like Bucky, Floodborn, discard deck, and getting him out turn 4, shifting him onto one of the smaller Milo Thatches is really good, like insanely good. And his banishing ability to basically clear the opponent's board can win you games. It really can. So don't let the 3 lore kind of tempt you, because maybe sometimes clearing their board is the better way to go. Now, the only real drawback that he can have is that some decks don't mind characters being sent back to the hand. You know, I think about all the Merlin stuff, or, you know, in one game, someone had the Toymaker on the board, and he was bounced back because Milo Thatch was banished, and someone was able to play him again and get the draws for banishing the items, and he was fully healed too. So sometimes that ability can backfire on you, but if used at the right time, it can 100% win you games. I think the fact that he is a shift 4 is massive. I think that's one of the main reasons why he is going to see play, and I do think that he is meta bound, at least in that deck. I think he is very good. Our next Emerald legendary we have is Ursula, Deceiver of All, 3-cost inkable, and 2/3 stats, can quest for 1 lore, and her ability reads: whenever this character sings a song, you may play that song again from your discard pile for free, then put it on the bottom of your deck. This card's insane. There's really no way around it. This card is absolutely insane. You know, songs in general are really good. So, you know, especially there's some really good, like, low-cost songs too. So, like, I think of Friends on the Other Side. If you sing that with Ursula, then you can essentially, it's essentially a draw 4, which is crazy. This card, I think, is an instant Emerald staple, because there are songs that can utilize this, and again, being able to play those songs for free, it's unreal. That is both Emerald legendaries, I think, are both meta bound, so off to a really good start with those. Alright, we're moving on to Ruby, and the next card we have here is Hydralethal Snake, non-inkable, 6 cost with 6/5 stats, not too bad, can quest for 2, and its ability reads: watch the teeth. When this character is dealt damage, deal the same amount of damage to a chosen opposing character. So the effect is good. He has a lot of health, so like you can sort of use this in tandem with other Ruby strategies that do like self damage and things like that. That is a thing. You know, I think of Teeth and Ambitions, right? Teeth and Ambitions would turn into a 4 damage dealer with this, so that would be really good. My only gripe is how impactful is it going to be this late in the game when it's not inkable and costs 6, when I just think that, like, Lady Tremaine for the non-inkable 6 is better overall. I just think there's better overall cards that could be used. Again, in the right strategy, this could work. I just don't know how insanely like top tier it's going to be. So I think this will be in the B tier, fun for combos. Next up, we have Jim Hawkins. This might have been like the first legendary that was spoiled, I think. He costs 5, is inkable, 4/4, can quest for 2, and reads, when you play this character, you may play a location with the cost of 4 or less for free. Whenever you play a location, this character may move there for free. So this is super dependent on how competitively viable locations are going to be. There are some really good ones, especially ones that cost 4 or less. There are some really, really good ones, and him being able to go there for free is a really good effect. It's just so hard because I could see this being a card that like maybe isn't meta breaking this set or this format. It's still going to be good, right? I think it's definitely going to be good, but I think it's very dependent on what future locations are released. So I don't think he's like meta bound just yet. I think he's very good, slightly off meta, but he could be great. So I'm going to put Jim Hawkins in the A tier. All right, we are moving on to Sapphire, and the first Sapphire legendary we're going to look at is Grandma Tala. Is 7 inkable, 4/8, so pretty good stats. Is a Floodborn, can quest for 2. Is a shift 5, which is also very nice, a pretty underrated aspect that gets overlooked about this card. And the effect reads, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, gain 1 lore. So this card changes the game for the Sapphire ramp strategies. All right, you're not just ramping up on ink anymore, you are ramping up on lore as well. And when you read it, you're like, man, think of what this can combo with. It can combo with Detective Mickey, Winnie the Pooh, Fishbone Quill, the new Friend Like Me, like all these cards that send cards into your inkwell can gain lore off of this. Here's my main problem is how much are you building your deck around that, and how consistent will it be? One issue I feel like you can run into with ramp is things like hand size, or, you know, even inking good cards. And yeah, this card going on turn 5 could be good, but she doesn't have any other protections. And I feel like if that's the case, then your strategy kind of goes down the drain at this point. But that doesn't mean she's bad. This is obviously a really good card and can see meta play for sure. I just don't think it's this meta breaking card. I think it's very good. I think it's better than the Hydra, but not as good as Jim Hawkins. So I'm going to put her in the A tier for could be great, slightly off meta. Next up for Sapphire, our first non-character legendary. This is Lucky Dime. Is 7 non-inkable item, and you exert it to pay 2 ink, choose a character of yours, and gain lore equal to their lore count. So obviously this could work in item decks, and like I can see this working with a Tamatoa or something like that once he's loaded up on lore and being able to go for big bursts of lore, right? It's good in that sense, but it's going to be a while until you get this card on the board. And not only are you getting this card on the board, but like, are you going to have any other characters worth pairing this with? You know, I look at a 7 cost non-inkable card, and I just feel that for Sapphire, a card like Hades is more impactful to the game. Yeah, you can kind of combo this off, like I said, with like Tamatoa and things like that, and get a lot of lore, and it can be insane in that way, but I just don't think it's consistent enough. I think it's fun for combos. It's not bad. It's definitely not bad. I'm going to put it in the B tier for fun for combos. All right, moving on to Steel, and this card I'm so torn on. The Mickey Mouse Trumpeter, Bugle Call. You pay 2 ink to play a character for free. It is good. It is good. It's 4 cost, non-inkable, is weak as dirt. 0 attack, 1 defense. You can only gain 1 lore, but you're not really looking to quest with this guy anyway, so that's pretty irrelevant. Obviously, with the right combination of cards in your hand, this would work well. You know, yes, essentially, because you still have to pay 2 ink. So you'd have to play 4 for him, and then you're essentially spending 2 ink to play something big for just 2. So, like, I don't know, first thing I think of is like the big Goofy, right? You play him for 2, that's really good. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of situations where you see him in your hand, but you don't really have a card that's like that worth playing. And by the time you're at turn 4, it's like, okay, maybe you played a Cinderella Knight early, or you played a giant Tinkerbell early. That's nice. I don't know, I'm so torn on it. Some people think it's like insane, and maybe it is, but like, is this kind of like a main kind of deck staple for Steel? I don't think so. I think it's good. I think it could be great. So I am going to put it in the A tier for could be great, but it's definitely behind Grimitala, and it's behind, yeah, so, yeah, I don't know, it's behind Jim Hawkins. So yeah, like, I don't know, I'd have to test it out some more. You look at it, and plus it can die so easily. And like, by the time you're at turn 4, it's like your opponent, I don't know. I just don't know how worth it is. I think it has potential. So I am going to put it in the A tier, but like, I don't know. We'll see. All right, next for Steel, we have Robin Hood. Is a inkable 5 cost, 3/6 Floodborn. Has a shift 3, which is nice. I can quest for 2. Has 2 different effects. The first one is during your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, gain 2 lore. Pretty good, especially in Steel that has a lot of cards that can gain you Challenger and things like that. That's a pretty good effect. And then the other effect is, when this character is banished in a challenge, you may draw a card. The fact that it's a Floodborn is big. The fact that it's a shift 3 is big. So like, obviously you can use the one Robin Hood that pings damage and things like that and shift him on him turn 3. It's a Floodborn, so it works in like the Floodborn Bucky discard deck very well. You know, I could see like swapping out certain cards in there to slot this one in instead. Very good. I don't know if it's meta bound though. It's weird because I think it's somewhere between the bottom of meta bound of S tier and the top of A tier. I'm actually gonna put it here. It could be here. You know, if that deck is as good as we think it is, then it could be here. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm gonna leave Robin Hood up here. No, I lied. I'm leaving him here. I can't go S tier yet, but it could get there very, very easily. Alright, we are moving on to Amber, and the first legendary we have is Kita, which is an inkable 5 cost 3/5 Floodborn. Shift 3, another shift character, can gain 2 lore and reads, when you play this character, all characters get -3 attack until the start of your next turn. Man, it's definitely not S tier. It's not A tier. At least I don't think it is. Like, it's good for when you have more of a challenge-based deck and you don't want to take any damage. Like, that could be big. But as a legendary, Shift 3 is nice. It could go in the bottom of fun for combos. Could it be C? No, I'm gonna put this at B. I'll put it at B. You know what? Actually, after thinking about it, I'm just not buying it. I think it's not F. It's not in Gantu range, but I don't know. I'm just not buying this one. Our Last Amber legendary, Perdita Protective Mother or Devoted Mother, 6 cost, not inkable, 1/6, can quest for 2. When you play this character and whenever she quests, you may play a character with the cost of 2 or less from your discard pile for free. This is nice for those kind of like low to the ground decks, those really low costs that can kind of get blown out of the game from like Be Prepared or Grab Your Sword or whatever. I don't think it's going to be like this meta defining card. I do think it can be at the bottom of B tier though. It's not like terrible, but it's not like the best either. Alright, the last color we have here is Amethyst, and the first legendary we're going to look at is Maleficent. 5 cost inkable, 2/3, can quest for 2 lore, and the effect reads, each time this character quests, you may draw a card. Not a bad start, especially with how it's going to pair with the next card. Each time you draw a card during your turn, you may choose any character and move 1 damage on a chosen opposing character, so just moving damage from one to another. This card is really good, and I think it will be good paired with a certain card we're about to talk about in a sec. I just think Amethyst is still really good. I think that I think it's meta bound. I just do. And the final card we're going to look at, and this is the card that's been causing the most stir in the Lorcana community, that is Jafar, and there is so much going on with this. It is an inkable, 7 cost, 4/5, a shift 5, which is crazy, evasive, which is quite crazy, can quest for 1, but that's not what we're looking at. The effect simply reads, during your turn, while this character is exerted, whenever you draw a card, gain 1 lore. So, like, if he's exerted and you play a whole new world, you gain 7 lore. You know, pairing him with the Maleficent here, when you get her draw effect, you would gain a lore off of that. Friends on the other side, you would gain 2 lore off of that. He's crazy, and I think that, you know, people are going to try to break him. Everything about this card makes it just so unbelievably good, where if you took one of the aspects away from it, it wouldn't be nearly as good. Like, the fact that he's evasive is crazy. The fact that he's a shift 5, can enter the board turn 5, is unbelievable. He's also inkable. Like, this is like insane card, and Lorcana does have a decent amount of draw power. I believe there's that one location that lets you draw a card at the start of your turn. Like, people are already kind of labbing him with steel. I've seen him in regular Ruby Amethyst. I've seen him everywhere. Like, he is so good. I think he might even be problematic. We'll see. He is going at the top of S tier for meta bound. I just think he's the best legendary that was released for sure. Alright, so there we have it. This is my 100% accurate legendary tier list. I'm sure we're going to look back on this video and it's still going to hold up then. All these opinions, I'm 100% sure, are just going to be correct and no disagreements at all. Just the perfect list. No even need to look anywhere else. This is just objectively the best list. Obviously, I'm sure this video won't date at all, or you know, yeah. So but yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know, what's your favorite legendary into the Inklands. I would love to see what you have to say in the comments. So with that being said, Illumineers, I'll see you on the next one. Later.